Good evening. Tonight, I will be telling you of some true, disturbing stalking cases. I do hope you enjoy. Number 1. In the mid-80s, my mum was a cleaner in Australia. She would do clean houses in suburban areas and would sometimes do houses in rural, wine regions. We lived near both. She would leave business cards at local shops and got most of her business this way, and some through referrals and word of mouth. One day, she got a call from a lady who sounded like she was in her 60s. She had asked my mum to clean her old farmhouse. She made a lot of odd demands, and mum would usually meet clients before taking on new business. In this case, the lady did not want to meet mum and said she would leave the keys under the front doormat. My mum agreed, mainly because the lady was quite obviously wealthy and was offering to pay mum substantially more than she would reasonably expect. Mum went to the house on a Monday morning and said she already felt unnerved by the long driveway. The house was essentially in the middle of a very large and very empty property. She found the keys and started cleaning. About an hour into the clean, she hears the back door shut. My mum was told no one would be at the house, so she immediately felt unsafe. She stood frozen in the kitchen for what she said felt like 3 to 4 minutes, although she said it could have been much longer. There was no other car on the property. She wanted to leave immediately, but had 2 rooms left to do. Both were bedrooms. She said as time passed and she heard nothing else, she decided that perhaps it was nothing. Or perhaps something had fallen and it wasn't the door after all. She walked up the hallway and stepped into the bedroom. All over the bed were black and white photos. As mum got closer, she realised the photos were all of her. Some were taken at her family home, and many others were taken at other houses mum would clean. Some through windows or over fences. She used the house phone to call the police and immediately drive to the end of the driveway. The lady ended up being investigated but continued to claim that it was a break-in. After some time, the police stopped with their searching and we ended up moving to a new town 4 months later. Every time my mum tells this story, I get serious chills. Absolutely true as well. To this day, my mum thinks a lady has something to do with it. But why? And for what purpose? Number 2. When I first moved into a new place in a new town, I had left home one evening and accidentally left my garage door open. Text my husband to tell him so he could go home and close it. But he gets there and tells me it's not open. That's strange, but okay. The next day, I'm taking my trash out, and my neighbour was outside. He introduced himself and told me that the night before he noticed me leaving and I left my garage door open. So he went inside and closed it, and let himself out through the front door, only locking the doorknob lock. Then he sent me a Facebook friend request. I'm assuming he looked at mail on my counter to find out my full name. After this, he wrote me poems and taped them to my door. left gifts on the front porch, made crazy Facebook posts about a woman he was in love with who was forbidden. I'm married. One Saturday night, I came home really late, and I was finishing my cigarette outside of my garage before going in. He was sitting outside in a chair, blistering drunk. He approached me and started talking about someone named George. I had no idea what he was going on about, and confused I asked him if he had company. He walked into the garage and came out with a box containing George. George was his stepdad, and he was dead. The ashes were in the box. He caught wind of a trip I was going to via Facebook and invited himself along. I politely explained that I'm married and all of his wacky behaviour was unacceptable. A few days later, I had gone a walk with my husband, and we had left through the garage, leaving the door open. He messaged me on Facebook and told me he had a gift for me in my garage. When I got back, I found a bunch of camping gear inside of a giant Easter egg. After I got back from the trip, he showed up at my door at midnight, drunk, and banging on the door. It's fair to say we moved. Number 3. I'm 22, and this incident happened 1.5 years ago. I had just moved into my first apartment, and I was in the process of moving in. The door that led into my apartment locks itself automatically when closed. So, I was going to the entrance of the apartment complex to get my mail while talking on the phone with my boyfriend. I returned to my apartment and sat on the bed while opening the mail while using the phone. I dropped the phone on the floor and it landed under the bed, so I had to lie on the floor and stretch for it. I saw something that caught my eye though. There was someone under my bed. My eyes widened and I choked the urge to scream. The person under my bed was lying still with his back towards me and his head to his chest, so I couldn't see his face, and he didn't see me. Trying to be rational, while so many thoughts rushed through my head, I picked up the phone and said, "Sorry, I dropped my phone. I'm just going to take a shower. I'll call you back." The bathroom is right by my bed, so I hesitantly walked in, quietly locked the door, turned the shower on, jumped out my window. My apartment's on the first floor luckily, and then I called the police. They told me to wait nearby, but to go to across the street and see if anyone comes out the door of the apartment complex. This was during the summer and it was still light out. I placed myself across the street, hiding behind a car while watching my open bathroom window and the entry door. I called my boyfriend and he came to me just before the police. I gave them my keys and they went inside. Only moments later, 2 cops came out holding a thin and tired looking man. His eyes looked crazy, but he didn't try to get away. The policeman had stood beside me and comforted me while the police searched through my house. I was a mess and shivering and crying. Told me that the man stood outside my bathroom door with one of my kitchen knives waiting for me to come out. This man had somehow crept in my entry door while I was getting my mail and hid under my bed. The man that was trying to hurt me turned out to be a homeless person and was placed in a mental hospital. My boyfriend moved in with me the very next day. If you have any stories of your own, please head down to the description and click on my subreddit where you can post and share your stories. And as always, thanks for listening. If you're new, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed, like and comment. Thank you.